Very warm good afternoon to all the students who are watching this particular live streaming. So this session is basically to understand these questions: why, how, and when of UPSC IAS preparation. So what does it mean by why, how, and when of UPSC IAS preparation? So basically, why you want to prepare for this examination, why you want to become a civil servant, and how to prepare for this examination. And if you have already decided as to why you want to become a civil servant, and then the question is when you wanted to start preparing for this examination. So this session is basically for the beginners who have not yet started preparing for the IAS examination, but who do think or they are contemplating, should I prepare for this examination or not. So this session is basically for such students, especially for the beginners. So few questions that might be in your mind as to whether should I prepare for the examination, should I not prepare for the examination. So all these queries will be answered in this particular session. So that's why this particular session has been planned. So let us try to understand and answer all these questions, and also during the session I will also let you explain as to what is a journey that a UPSC aspirant has to undergo. I myself have been an UPSC aspirant and gone through the process, and because I have cleared the examination also, otherwise also other students have also gone through the same phase. So what are the different phases that one will undergo during the process of preparation? So what the things and how your mind and mindset will change over a period of time. So all these things will be briefly explained in this particular session. So basically before I enter into the thing, so these are the few things that I wanted to tell you, that these are the stages that probably you will have to undergo. First is the decision making phase. The decision making phase is whether you will have to prepare for this examination or not. So that's the first stage, I would say, because everything happens after the decision is made. So first is the decision making phase, and then once you have made your choice, then next is a preparation phase, and then you start preparing for the examination, and you know that this is what I wanted to do, and probably whatever is required for the examination. This is a phase where you learn, you not only learn to do it, you also learn from your failures. So this is a phase where you learn to do things which is required for you to clear the examination. Then you get into a phase which is called as a struggle phase. And believe me, each and every aspirant has to go through this particular phase. So I'll explain what is a struggle phase. But if you ask me briefly what is a struggle phase, this is a phase that irrespective of your work, you seem that no result is coming out. This is a phase where you feel helpless. And in fact, all the students will go through this particular phase of helplessness. So this is a phase of helplessness. And irrespective of your success in the attempt, this is a phase that you have to go through. And then there's a lull phase. So the next phase is the lull phase. This is a phase of calmness. And after your initial failures and all those things, now you understand and you realize what you have to do. So this is when you realize this is what I have to keep doing, and you keep doing that. And this is a phase just before the last phase of your civil service journey, that is the success phase. And success is a phase which will come at the end after you go through all these phases. Now this is a phase irrespective of the student, irrespective of their background, irrespective of their intelligence level, irrespective of the other I would say parameters, they have to go through all these phases. And that's why the preparation for this examination is so demanding, because of the fact that everybody has to go through this process, and in fact it's a very long process. So let us now try to break this process, and we'll also try to understand these questions, because I put up these questions. So we'll try to understand these questions, and this is broadly the phase that a student has to undergo. So I'll continue discussing all those things. So we'll just try to understand these phases one by one. But before I enter into these phases, a small announcement from StudyIQ. So StudyIQ has already launched its prelims to interview batch. So prelims to interview batch, as the name suggests, This is a program which is launched by StudyIQ to take care of the complete needs of the students right from their preliminary examination till their interview stage. That's why the name Prelims to Interview. So, it take care of all the needs of the students in the preliminary examination stage, and then you know that there is a main stage. So, it takes care of the requirements of the mains examination as well, and then students qualifying the mains examination, their interview, their personality test requirements will also be taken care. So, different components are there as a part of this particular program. Let me brief a few of these components. So, for example, there is, apart from the 1000 hours of live classes, there is a crash course program before your mains and prelims examination. There is handwritten notes for quick revision will be given, daily answer writing to improve upon the scores in the mains examination and to prepare them for mains examination. And then an unique feature of this particular course is the mains residential program. A mains residential program which is for the students who clear the prelims, they can get into the mains residential program, and then finally there is an interview guidance program and many more features also. If you want, you can download the brochure of StudyIQ from the StudyIQ website and you can get to know more about these courses. But the courses have already commenced, but only the orientation classes have happened and 1 or 2 lectures have happened, and all those lectures will also be there in the StudyIQ application. If you want, you can watch those lectures if you join the course, and the last day to join the course is only 30th of June 2023. And if you want an additional discount on these courses, you can use my code Babu Live, that will get you the course at this particular rate. Okay. So, with this, let me just continue back to the topic that you are discussing, that is why, how and when of the UPSC examination. So, to understand this, so probably you will have to make few decisions in your life. So, before you start preparing for the civil service examination. So, in my opinion, the first thing is, for students who plan to prepare for UPSC IAS examination, or for that matter any of the civil service examination. So, the first thing, the first question any beginner should answer is that why do I want to get into civil service? Why do I want to prepare for this examination? I am not here to testify or to justify as to this is the reason as to why you will have to prepare for this examination. So, everybody come from a unique background, everybody is unique, no two individuals are identical in our society. So, that is very clear. So, the reason behind as to why you want to prepare for civil service, it's your personal reason. So, I am not getting into that. So, probably somebody wanted to get into the service because they feel that this is a way that they can serve back to the society. Somebody wanted to get into the civil service because they feel that this is the most respected job in our country. Somebody have a desire to be very authoritative, and for the authority they wanted to get into this particular service. So, whatever be the reason, I am not getting into the reason, but all that it is required is that whatever be the reason that you wanted to prepare for civil service, that reason or the desire that push you to prepare for the civil service should be intrinsic in nature. That's a drive that comes from within, that will always keep you motivating to prepare for this examination. That is something you earn for, that is something you long for. And if that is your desire and that is a basis on which you make up this particular decision, then that is going to motivate you right till the entire journey of the civil service examination. Otherwise, if the motivation is not internal, if whatever be the reason, again I am not justifying that this is the right reason as to why you have to prepare for it. Whatever be the reason that you chose, and that is an internal reason, and that is something that you long for, that keeps you energetic through the entire process, because a journey is not a very short journey. For somebody it is 2 years. The 2 years time that I am saying is the minimum time. Nobody can clear this examination, that I can guarantee you, without putting in their heart and soul for at least 2 years. When I say 2 years, it is 1 year for the preparation and 1 year for the examination process itself, provided that all their planetary positions are in the right place and they are the most luckiest person with regard to this examination, then it can happen in 2 years. This is not to demotivate any of the students, but otherwise it will take a little long time. 1 year of preparation stage, 1 year of examination stage, something goes wrong, because there are many things beyond your control. Apart from you preparing and writing your examination, there are many things in that year, probably that how the evaluation is done, or probably that the answers that you have prepared and the topics that you have prepared, there can be some kind of external factors that can alter all those things. So there are a number of external factors apart from how you prepare, but although I'm sharing one thing, that once you keep preparing well, definitely the success will come to you. There's no doubt in that. As I always say to my students, that if you are confident, if you are committed, and if you trust in yourself and you maintain the consistency, then even the God doesn't have the right to take it away from you. The success is all yours. But despite that, there are certain external factors also beyond. So there is some control beyond, which is outside your capacity. So you'll have to accept that particular fact when you start preparing for this examination. So I don't want to say all those things at this stage. So, but however, that is true. So the very important reason is, so why do you want to prepare for it? Are you internally motivated to do this particular thing? So students externally motivated, sometimes say the parents compel them to prepare for this examination and then they keep preparing for this examination. That is also fine. I'm not saying that those students may not succeed. Those students may also succeed. But the possibility is that they may give it up in the middle of the process. But for students who are internally motivated, definitely they are going to do this. Maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, maybe 4 years, but they are going to do this. So the first thing is, why do you want to get into civil service? So that's the reason. So probably you feel that this is the most secure job that I have. Perfectly all right, no problem. You think that the private jobs are not secure, but once I get into government job, yes, it's a very secure job. That is also good enough reason. But yes, if you feel that this is, you are internally motivated about that. So first you'll have to see this decision making stage is very important. Okay, once you have decided, okay, that you're going to prepare for the civil service examination, then comes the preparation stage. So here you'll have to plan a lot of things. So we'll try to understand as to what has to be planned in this particular stage. Now first thing is when to start. Okay, I have made up my mind to prepare for this examination. So when to start? Ideally, I would say that starting early will be beneficial. So if you decide something, then do it early. You will have an early start advantage. So by the time you get into the service, so probably you will be a young person when you get into the service, so that your possibility of getting into the higher positions in the government is much higher, because after all the service becomes very important at the very high positions. So because where we will control the entire ministry or the department, where you can reach up to the level of secretary to the government of India, or become the DGP of police, or become the foreign secretary. Now for all these things requires a lot of service. So it's better that if you are planning, then you plan it at an early stage. When I say early, when to start, ideally I would say that doesn't mean that you'll have to start doing it right from your school days or when you are doing your 12th standard. So no. So you'll have to enjoy each and every phase of your life. So but if you have already decided, okay, civil service is what I wanted to do in my future, so probably the right time to do it is in the last year of your graduation. So last year of your graduation is when you can start preparing for this examination, or immediately after your graduation. So don't delay it after that, probably if you decide to go for civil service. Now this is for students, I'm saying, that who think that they don't have to work, but the situation can vary from student to student. Family circumstances, the financial constraints and all those things, but assuming that the other things are not an issue and the students are planning to go for this preparation, then the right time is that they can start during their last year of the college. So this is when they have to start for this examination. Or even students wanted, they can also do it during the second last year also if they want, but although I would suggest you can do it in the last year rather than the second last year, because college time is never going to come back. So you'll have to have fun and good times as well. So probably last year is when you start deciding about your career choices and all those things. And if you've already made up your mind, then this is the time that you'll have to start. So second last year or the last year is the time. But even before that, if you start preparing, still you cannot give the examination, because you know the rules of the UPSC examination, that you can give the examination only during the last year of your graduation, and that too you have completed 21 years of age. So last year of examination is the right time to start that. Okay, you start at that time. How important is to know the syllabus? So once you start, made up your mind, and then you also start preparing for the examination, the first thing that as an aspirant who wanted to prepare for this examination is that you should know about the syllabus of the examination. Without syllabus, it's a directionless. So without knowing where to go, how can you go to that particular place? If you wanted to have a trip, let us assume you want to go for a a trip to some foreign country. So, you should know the routes as to how I will go there. So, that is how you can reach the destination. So, similarly, the first thing that you should do is that you should know the syllabus for this examination. So, syllabus for both your prelims as well as mains, syllabus for both your general studies as well as your optional subject. So, first you will have to understand the syllabus. Take few days, try to go through the syllabus. There are many things that can be new to you, but you just go through the syllabus so that the later stages you have an idea as to this is the syllabus. This is what I have to do. So, just try to understand the syllabus first. So, understanding the syllabus is very, very important process of your examination. Then the next thing is, with regard to the general studies, anyways you do not have any option. So, whatever is there, everybody has to prepare. But with regard to the optional subject, so as an aspirant, you should be aware of this. Somebody who is preparing, you should first understand what is the syllabus, what is the scheme of the examination, what is prelims examination, what is required in prelims examination, what is mains examination, what is required in mains examination, and then what is personality test, what is required in personality test. You should understand all those things before you start preparing. And with the information revolution that we have, and there's a lot of people to guide you, so these days this information is not much difficult. But you should not take this for granted also. Then the next thing that you should do is that choosing the optional subject. As I already said, you do not have any option or choice with regard to a GS subject. So, GS is something which is common for all the people. But yes, with regard to the optional subject, there can be few choices. So, what is the optional that I will choose? And it is, please understand and take it very seriously. This is one of the most important decisions that you will have to take during the process of your civil service IAS examination preparation. Choosing a wrong optional could cost you a year. Sometimes it may also lead to not clearing the examination. So, choosing the optional is a very, very important choice that the students have to make. And the biggest problem is there are 48 optional subjects in the civil service notification. So, 25 optional subjects from different streams, from the stream of science, from management, law, social sciences, mathematics, engineering subjects, and then a lot of literature papers. A literature paper can also be taken as one of your optional. So, provided these many choices, then it becomes a little difficult for the students, especially the students from the social science optionals. So, social science optionals can be taken by anyone, say subject like sociology or subjects like philosophy, anthropology. So, anyone can take it up and decide, not necessarily they should have any specific background for that. And many students from the science background do opt for such optionals because the syllabus is extremely relatively shorter when comparison to subjects like engineering subjects or the subjects like mathematics, physics, chemistry or the medical sciences. So, anybody can do that, especially the social science papers. So, but what is the decision that I will make is going to be very, very important. Now, I am not getting into the detail as to how one has to choose an optional subject. I have already done a separate video on that. You can watch that, but let me just give the crux of the video that I have already done. What are the major things that you have to take into consideration? So, there are 3 parameters that you will have to understand first, and you will have to prioritize this, and in this priority you will have to choose as to whether I should take an optional, this one or the other optional. First is, what is your interest in a particular subject? Do you have an interest? Because you are going to read this subject probably say for the next 1 year or probably for 2 years or 3 years. Do you have an interest? Do you feel happier while reading this particular subject? See, interest is one thing, capability is another thing. So, when I say interest is that something which makes you more happier when you do that. Capability is something that you can do that, so you are doing it, but probably not, you don't enjoy that particular process. So, first thing is your interest for a particular subject. Now, second thing apart from the interest is what is your skill set, because there are certain optionals which requires a specific skill set. Certain optionals are more analytical, certain optionals you will have to just memorize a lot of things and remember a lot of facts. Certain optionals requires an extremely high level of skill in writing the answers. Certain optionals it just requires reproducing the things that you have read. Certain optional requires demands a lot of syllabus. So, you should also understand as to what is your personal skill set. So, interest, skill set, And then the third thing is the availability of books, coaching and all those things along with overlap with the general studies subject. So considering these factors, then you'll have to choose an optional and you'll have to choose it very wisely. If you want to take some time probably, and then choose your optional wisely, because it's very important that this decision does not go wrong in the preparation phase. So when to prepare is starting earlier is better, probably in the last year of your graduation. And what should be done once you prepare? First, you will have to understand the syllabus and then choose the right optional. And then where to start? Once I decide all those things, start from the basics. Do not start reading the advanced books, which is beyond your comprehension ability. No, you don't have to do that. You don't have to rush it up because you already started early. Slow and steady wins the race. So start from the basics. Start from the NCERT books. There are relevant NCERT books for different subjects. For studying the Indian Constitution, there is Our Constitution at Work. There is a 11th class NCERT book. And similarly for geography, there are geography NCERT books. So similarly for each and every subject, for history, there is a history NCERT book. So start from the basics. Take your time to understand this. Even if you have done excellently well in your school, I would say that spend 3 to 4 months of time in studying your NCERT books. Build your foundation, build your basics, so that the moment you read the standard text, you will have the comprehension ability. Because otherwise you start reading the standard text, probably you feel you are not understanding certain things and you may lose interest. So what is very important, when you construct a building, you take a lot of time to put the foundation. So similarly, here you are laying the foundation. Don't think that it is waste of time and this NCERT books are not up to my standards and hence I'll directly read the standard books. Okay, you can directly read the standard books also, but you already started early. So it's better that you follow the right process. So start from basics, identify the NCERT books. So that is where you actually start. In fact, for some of the optional subject also, you can read few NCERT books. Say for example, if you opt for political science, there's a political science NCERT book. If you opt for psychology, there's a NCERT book correspondingly. Sociology, there's a society NCERT book. So you can opt for the basic books. So start from the basics. Take 3 to 4 months of time, build your basics and then move forward. Do I have to plan a schedule during my preparation? Of course, yes. It is better that you have a schedule and this schedule should be a personalized schedule. So don't ever compare yourself with the other candidates and don't make a plan according to the others. So you should have a very personalized plan and you should have a short-term plan, you can have a medium plan and you can have a long-term plan, and try to always regularly assess as to how you are placed with regard to the plans that you have made. So all these things has to be done by the students and pace according to you. You never have to compare yourself with others. Because as I already said that each and every individual is a unique person. You are unique and somebody can read faster than you and comprehend better than you, but who knows that he is not consistent as you are. So your personality is that you are consistent, so automatically you don't have to compare yourself with others. So don't worry about that. You have a year-long time before you could actually take up the real preparation. So just try to cover up. So have a plan, stick to your plan, but that plan should be a very practical plan. It should be a realistic plan. All right. And then do I have to take crisp notes and regular test? During the preparation process, it is very important. Because one of the biggest problem that the students face is that the biggest problem of this examination is the enormous volume of content that you have to process. And on top of that, today a number of content has been put in different platforms, and I would say that students are now bombarded with something which is called as content terrorism. Already the content is so huge, and then for the same topic a lot of content is provided from multiple sources, and you read all the sources, try to get all the sources. You feel that you will be more empowered when you read all the sources. Then ultimately the word that I am using is what is called as content terrorism, and people are terrorized. The aspirants are terrorized by the level of content that is there in the market. So all I would say is stick to a specific source. So at the time of preparation, once you know the syllabus, you should stick to a specific source. You should know, okay, I will read NCERT, I will read the standard text, I will follow a current affairs magazine, I will read one newspaper and a specific current affairs magazine, and then I will have my own notes. I will consolidate all my notes in one single area, and I'll keep updating my notes according to the current affairs, and then I'll keep revising these sources multiple times. So once you are clear about all those things, rather than reading from multiple sources. So in fact, you can go and ask to any successful candidate. Most of the successful candidate, they will say the one thing, that rather than reading 10 books, read one book 10 times, or read the same book multiple times, because the more you read, the better clarity you will have. Now remember, the idea of the civil service examination is not to understand that you have exceptional intellectual capability in certain areas. Probably that for that you will have to, if that is equality, probably your job nature has to be something different. Probably you will have to go as an associate professor or a professor in some colleges to teach the students. But your job is an administrator. An administrator is someone who has a capability of understanding all the things. So the idea of this examination is to make you see that whether this person has a general knowledge, general awareness and general understanding of the various things. And will he be in a position to handle all those things in the future? So UPSC is not expecting you to have an expertise in all the areas, but you should have a general awareness in those areas. As expert, to some extent you should have an expertise in the optional subject. So that is to understand your intellectual depth in certain areas, apart from the general awareness which is tested by the general studies subject. So that means you don't have to spend too much of time in making a research and all those things. So please avoid that. So you don't have to make a research, but whatever you learn, you should have a conceptual clarity. Okay, that's the idea as to how the questions will be designed in the UPSC examination. So do I have to take a crisp notes and regular test? Yes, of course. So this is the way that you can consolidate your content, and then you can also revise them effectively. And taking tests would help you to evaluate your understanding. Because reading is one thing and having a knowledge is one thing, and putting into test and practice is something else. So by doing regular tests, especially the previous year questions and all those things, will help you to evaluate yourself. It will help you to check as to, okay, what is the understanding that I have with regard to certain areas. If you read fundamental rights, let us assume in the topic polity, from the subject polity, try to take all the previous year questions from the topic fundamental rights. So that will help you to assess to what extent you have assimilated and accommodated the information that you have read. So that is also an important thing. So who is more successful? So this is the question. Who is more successful, as in someone who is great, who is having high level of IQ. His intelligence is so high. So is he having a greater chance of succeeding this examination, or someone, let us assume, an average intelligence, an average IQ is there, who is having the chances of getting better success? But the success is not really depend on just this one parameter. This is just one parameter, it requires a lot of other things as well. Most importantly, the consistency of an individual. An individual with IQ of, let us assume, about 200, but he reads, let us assume, only 4 days in a month, or let us assume only 10 days in a month, or 15 days in a month. And let us assume another individual, say, let us assume an IQ of 100, but probably he reads almost every day in a month. So whose chances of clearing this examination is high is someone who is consistent, although having an average intelligence. So in fact, it does not require high level of intelligence, I would say. Contrary to that, I would say that it requires high level of motivation and consistency on the part of the student. So what is very important is that it also inculcates the habit of being consistent. And the entire UPSC examination, the way the IAS examination has been designed, it's not only to decide your intelligence, it also to somehow mold and to check your personality as well. So the UPSC IAS examination is not like a 100-meter race that you can run and you can win this particular race, but it is like a marathon. You will have to keep running, you will have to keep running consistently, and before you just cross the finish line, you will have to give the final push. So you will have to be really consistent, and that will make you to be successful in this examination. Okay. So these are the things that you have to keep in your mind as to when to start the preparation, how I should prepare my preparation phase. Now we will move to the next phase, and again you should be aware of this also. You should be mentally ready for this. Okay, you might ask me that, okay, I have planned everything well. I have done each and everything that has been discussed here, or even beyond that. I have been very careful, extremely cautious. Will my success be assured in my first attempt? It may be, or it may not be. You should be mentally prepared for that. Because everybody, in fact 99% of the students, there may be few students who are extremely lucky. So we are not talking about the students who are exceptionally luckier and exceptionally done well also. We are talking about the generally how the students have gone through in this examination process. The next phase is the struggle phase. Even for the students who get successful in their first attempt also, even for them there is a struggle phase, because I said that the examination process is for how many years? The examination process is for 2 years. That 1 year of preparation, whether you go to coaching or self-study, whatever be it, mostly coaching, and few students who are doing the self-study. So 1 year it takes. If you go to coaching, you can cover that in 1 year. If you do the self-study, probably it will take a little bit more time. And then 1 year of examination process. So completely put adding up these two things, minimum 2 years of preparation. And 2 years of preparation, believe me, it's not an easy job. And 2 years is not a small time. There can be a lot of ups and downs. Apart from the struggle that you're going to face in the preparation, there can be other personal issues and personal problems. On top of that, you have already struck up in the preparation. And when you want to, when there's a pressure upon you to read papers like ethics, which you have no idea, when there's a pressure upon you to read science and technology, and you are a student from commerce and you have to understand science and technology. So on top of all those things, you see that your friends are enjoying their life and they are doing everything in their life which you also wanted to enjoy at that particular age. So all these things could be really demotivating for a student, and this is exactly what is called as a struggle phase. So this is the time that you think that have I made a wrong choice, and on top of that, so probably you've gone through the examination phase, and then probably you failed to clear the prelims. Somebody cleared the prelims, couldn't clear the mains. Somebody cleared prelims and mains but couldn't get selected in the personality test. And for the student who has not cleared the prelims, he is not aware as to what has went wrong, why I could not clear the prelims examination despite doing all the things right. I have planned well. For student who have written the mains examination, I have done extremely well in the prelims, cleared the prelims, but I couldn't clear the mains. I was expecting to clear the mains. Somebody in the personality test got very low marks in the personality test. So this is exactly the struggle phase. They don't really understand as to what is missing, despite the planning that they have done and the precautions that they have taken. So this phase is really demotivating for most of the aspirants. So this is one of the toughest phase that they have to come across. And once they learn to come across and they go through this particular stage, and once they learn and they sustain themselves during this difficult time, then it's a stage where they are moving towards the success. And believe me, this is a stage that everybody has to go through, and this is a stage that I cannot just tell you that okay, this is how you can come across this particular stage. This is a stage that you have to experience, you have to fight it out, and you have to win this particular stage. And I am very sure that the students, that's why I said that why you have to prepare for this examination is very important, and which students will obviously come out of this particular stage. And that's when I said that the why question is very important. Why you wanted to become a civil servant, why you wanted to prepare for the civil service. If you are really internally motivated, and that will keep you pushing. Irrespective of all the difficulties, you will find the solution during the struggle phase. And that is possible when you are internally motivated. Whatever may be the hurdles, you will try to find out a way out of it, provided your reason is right, provided you have the motivation to do that. That's why I said that the most important question is why you wanted to do it. So be very clear about why you wanted to do this. Again, I'm saying that this is a valid reason. So it may be a valid reason for me, but for somebody else, something else can be a valid reason. But you should be internally motivated about that particular reason. So once you go through this struggle phase, then the next phase of the examination is the lull phase. So what is this lull phase? So lull phase is a phase, this is a phase that you feel complete calmness, and this is a phase that you are not agitated, your mind is very clear, because you already gone through the struggle phase, you understood that what is required to clear this examination. So this is a phase you understand as to why you have failed in the previous attempts. This is a phase that you have already planned everything properly. This is a phase that you have learned from your mistakes, and you have become more calm, you have become more composed. All that right now you have to do is, you'll have to keep focused and implement as to whatever you have learned and to rectify the mistakes that you have done in your previous attempts. So this is basically what is called as a lull phase, a calm phase, but you know what you should do, but the success is little far away still. The success is not there yet, but you are very calm enough to go through the remaining stages, the remaining process, and to reach the success. So this is a phase that you yourself will feel once you have gone through the lull phase. Suppose you are someone who started to prepare the examination, you can always see that students who are already 2-3 years ahead of you. Few students you can see there are many students who are there in the struggle phase even now. So that is what is very important. So this is unique and this is not same for all the individual. It is not that after 2 years you will enter from one phase to another phase. For somebody the struggle phase can go for even 5 years. For somebody the struggle phase is 2 years. For somebody the struggle phase is 3 years. So it may vary from an individual to individual. So the shorter is your struggle phase, it is better for you. So it cannot be shorter than 2 years because 2 years anyways you will have to go through the entire process. The shorter is the struggle phase, so automatically it is better for you so that you clear the examination better than the others. It will take a less amount of time in clearing the examination. So then once you clear this lull phase, which is a very calm and a composed phase, you know what to do, and then comes the last stage is that is the success phase, that is a success stage. So this is when you come out with flying colors and this is when the world is going to recognize you. So it is not very important that the others are recognizing you, but you should recognize yourself, you should appreciate yourself, and also you should thank the others who have helped you in the process of preparation. And this is a phase you really need to be very humble, you need to be very grounded. And this is the phase that you are going to start your career. So whatever the reason that you have opted to prepare for the civil service examination that helped you to reach this particular stage, that is the success phase. Now please understand, this is not going to be same for each and every aspirant. As I said that for someone it can take 2 years, for someone it can take 3 years, someone it can take 4 years, someone it can take 5 years, only the duration of the phases will vary. But everybody has to go through this particular phase. So all that is very important is you should be very clear as to why you wanted to prepare for this examination, and it is very important that you start from the basics, and very important you choose the right optional, and it is very important that you start early. So once you do all those things, so probably your struggle phase time can be little shortened. And also be thankful to others who have helped in the entire process of preparation. Be thankful to your parents, your teachers, your mentors, your friends, and be thankful to the other factors also that help you to prepare for this examination. Okay, so this is what I wanted to convey in this particular session. And if you have any doubts with regard to the examination in general, so you can reach out to me through my Telegram channel, that is Babu Gunasekaran 337, or you can follow me through my Instagram account, that is also Babu Gunasekaran 337. All the very best to all the aspirants who have been watching this particular video, or also the general people who wanted to later become an aspirant, or you can also pass on this message to others who wanted to prepare for this civil service examination. So it is mentally you should be prepared and be aware of as to what this examination demands. So that's the idea behind this particular video. Thank you very much. All the very best. God bless. Meet you again in another video. Thank you.